My name's Brann Dailor, that is. I play for the band Mastodon. The drums, that is, as well. Yeah. I started playing drums when I was about 3 or 4 years old. My biggest influences at the time were my Uncle Mark, because he played the drums for my grandfather's band, Cinnamon Road. And basically I just kind of walked up into the attic where that group practiced at my grandparents' house, and there was always a drum set up there with a bunch of other instruments, but I think the natural instinct for any young boy or girl is to want to, you know, somebody who's around the age of 3 or 4 is to bang on things. But so I started banging on things. He had a little 18-inch kick drum so I could reach that, and yeah, it was just fun, so I kept doing it, and here I am today. Never really took any lessons. Took maybe one lesson or 1 or 2 lessons, and it just wasn't for me. I think I was too young to take lessons, really, just because I don't know. It was more of a fun, like, toy for me to play with when I wanted to, and not play them when I didn't want to. So the thought of a regimented practice schedule seemed more like school to me than anything else, and I was not a big fan of school because I was bad at that. But then as I got older, like, you know, 10 or 11 or so, you know, I had the cool parents with the basement with the drum set in it, so a lot of kids would get dropped off over at my house, and we could practice there. And it just, you know, it takes a cool parent or parents to be able to put up with an musical instrument with no volume control and very little skill throughout the years, in the hopes that maybe, you know, your son or daughter will excel at that instrument at some point. But I could just imagine how painful those years were of just the awful sounds that were coming out of that basement or attic, you know, having to live with that on a daily basis. So yeah. So lots of kids would get dropped off at my house, and we'd start jamming, you know, Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath and Metallica songs, and that kind of leads to just being in a band, starting a band, and that's really where I cut my teeth. And that's when I guess it got more serious as far as being in a band and playing shows and writing your own music, stuff like that. And I really started getting more into lots of weirder kinds of music, not weirder, but you know, like more prog rock and jazz and stuff like that. And I started really getting into like Billy Cobham and Bill Bruford, but still kind of, you know, and Elvin Jones and Tony Williams and all those guys. All the most awesome drummers that every other drummer in the world likes, or they should like. And I guess some of the newer guys that I'm into is people like Thomas Pridgeon and my friend Ben from Converge, and Dez from High on Fire, and most of my favorite drummers are my buddies, you know. And Gene Hoglan is a master, you know. He's on this tour with us as well. So really, most of the last bunch of tours that we've done have been total drum fests, you know. Tool and, you know, just bands like that. Danny Carey is one of my favorites, of course. So kind of mixed a bunch of styles together, I guess, and tried to find my own way behind the kit with my first serious band, Lethargy. The music was like circus metal. It was like fireworks the whole time, you know. We had like 20 different parts for one song, and never repeated a part, you know, just kind of like. So no one ever told me that I was supposed to be following the bass player, so I would always just follow the guitar lines, and that's kind of how I got so busy, and that's how I began my career as an overplayer. That's pretty much my philosophy. Treat the drums as a toy, have fun with them, and play what you want. And we really that's kind of what I've always done, and I don't really practice rudiments or anything like that, which is probably really bad. And maybe someday I will take lessons when I'm older and not so busy with Mastodon, because there's really just not any room for practice or lessons or anything like that. I started using Vater sticks. It was one of the only companies that I actually used religiously before they started hooking me up with an endorsement deal. Probably been using Vater sticks since probably the mid-90s. I don't know. I just didn't have the best of luck with all the other sticks, I kind of went from stick to stick to stick, and I'd have sticks that were splitting in my hand, and sticks that would break after, you know, 1 or 2 songs, or unbalanced pairs and all that kind of stuff. And Vater just always would consistently be just a good stick and would last at least the whole show, if not 2, which is just wild. It just doesn't happen with a heavy metal. So yeah, the 5B is a good weight for me. I've been using 5B for a pretty long time, probably since I was, I don't know, 16 or 17. And I'm super old now, so it's been a long time. And but yeah, I couldn't see switching to anything else. That's definitely, I've definitely had the most luck with Vater sticks, and you know, they can get me through a whole show, and I rarely break one. So I think that's a true testament to the good wood that is Vater. Currently on this leg of the Crack the Sky tour, we're again playing the entire record from start to finish, and we really like doing that. It's really fun because I guess we couldn't really see it going too much any other way, because we really like all the songs on it, and it really kind of flows together as one big piece. So, but I guess the only thing that would be the only difficult thing about playing the whole record is, you know, I do like a lot more singing, so it's really kind of weird to play and sing at the same time. But if there was an album where it was feasible for me to be able to do that, or that would definitely be this one, just because of the fact that the record, drum-wise, has a lot more open spaces. I mean, there's sections where I'm going a little more busy, but there are some spaces where it definitely just opens up, and there is that ability for me to be able to kind of do some backing vocals, or even some lead vocals in one song. It's definitely difficult to be away from home for that long period of time, and we've pretty much at this point been gone for just about 6 months straight. We were home for maybe a week and a half, but that's the worst, is when you're gone for 3 months and then you come back home and you're home for like a week, and then you have to leave again for another couple months. You know, that's just a total tease. But you know, you'll take anything when if you have that week, you definitely are. It's a pretty awesome week. You get to sleep in your bed, get to run in your own toilet. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. You know, it's really there is a lot of loose ends to get left when you take off, because you just can't really do everything in that amount of time. So you just kind of walk out the door looking around like, oh, I know I'm leaving something. I don't know what it is, but I'll find out in a few days what I forgot. And then you walk out the door. But you learn how to pack light. Make sure you have your toiletry bag. And I recently started traveling with an electric toothbrush, and that's been very beneficial to my gums. And let's see, but that involves another charger to throw into the mix, and you have all these different chargers, and you know, live out of suitcases. I don't know. It's so hard to be popular. Hey everybody that's watching this in the comforts of your own home. I hope you feel good about yourselves. Sitting there in your underwear. Why aren't you looking at porn? Why are you watching me talk? That's kind of doesn't make any sense. Anyways, I'm glad you liked my interview, if you liked it. Maybe you're angry about some of the things I said, and if you are, don't be afraid to write a letter and send it to my house. I love you all very much, and I hope to see you soon out there in the treacherous road. Drums, they're fun, but they're way too loud. Bye-bye. Uh-oh, something broke.